for today's mini tutorial, we are putting the squares together. So, as I said, I have made a bunch of squares out of that same yarn. We've got lots of variations. So we're just going to mix them up and put them together. But first, we need to do some preparation. I've decided that what I'm going to do, it's going to be like a lap blanket, a throw, that kind of size. We're going to do 6 squares across, and then I'm going to show you 2 rows. This is a method of joining that is used commonly in quilting, and it just makes the thing that you're making easy to handle doing it this way. Some people just do like row by row by row and square by square by square and join as you go and all the things, but this is a good way if you've made all the squares to put it together. I will leave a link in the description of the Pinterest video that I watched. In case my video is not clear enough, the Pinterest video is so clear of how to do this joining method. But let's get to it. So what we're going to need is our white yarn, scissors, the tapestry needle, whichever suits you. I find these metal ones to be very good. I got them from Temu. I can leave a link in the description. So what I like to do is make all of the squares, and then I sew in all of the ends. So I'm going to show you how to sew the ends in. Now, a very important one that we need to do, I'll get a better example. Very, very important is your slip knot end. So we're going to have the slip knot end, the end where we've joined the white, and where we've started and finished our white over here. Yeah, this is where we started. So we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 to weave in. Pull them all to the same side, it doesn't matter which side. And so we need to pull this nice and tight to close that off. And then I like to put a knot in this one. If you're doing competition work, they don't want to see knots, so you might just have to weave it in a lot more. Lots of people don't like weaving in ends. I think they think it's boring, whatever. But I saw a video, I can't tell you which one it is now, but we just go 3 different ways, cut it off, and it's done. So if you want this to not come undone without a knot, say you're doing competition work, I think you might need to weave it in like quite a few more times, maybe 5 or 6 times. So I like to just get like a piece of yarn that's close by. We'll go through, and I'll go through that loop, and that will make a knot, and then I'll just use like my nail to like really squeeze it down so it's nice and tight. And then we're going to go 3 different ways. A really easy way in these granny squares is to go through this like bundle of stitches here, and you see you can't see my needle on the other side, so I'm going through the middle. So 1, try not to unthread your needle. That's one direction, and then I'm going to go up and try and like split through the yarn, but don't get too like crazy about it. It's just a quick thing. 2, and then maybe down. 3, boom, done. Cut it off. That's it. You only have to do that for each thread. So it's probably going to take you maybe 5 minutes each square, but it can just be an enjoyable, relaxing thing. Now we should weave through the same color, but you can get away with going through that white as long as you don't see it on the other side. 1 direction, 2, and 3. Boom. Just try not to, you know, might just do 1 and just hide it in there. Make sure it's extra secure, because you can have like little ends pop out sometimes in your blanket, especially after you wash it. and I'll just go and cut them back off. But if you end in this nice thick lot of your stitches, it shouldn't pop out again. And make sure you don't cut your actual bundle of stitches. Okay, boom, done. Next one. We'll see how long this actually takes. And yeah, if you're just listening to a podcast, it's just no big deal. And it can be very therapeutic. Just 1, 2, maybe that way. Back and forth, through the middle. 3. 1 more. You know, if you can do diamond dots, you can do this. Okay. Oh, now actually, these ones on the outside, I don't weave them in yet. I do that later on when they end up into a seam, because I find it hard to do the method that we're going to use if I weave that in now. So that was it. How long have we been going? 5 minutes. 5 minutes each square, not a big deal. And now your middle's not going to come apart. So I'm going to go and do 6 squares, and we're going to get started, and we will complete a row. Okay, so we need our white yarn. I'm going to have it sort of over this side. Now, I've sewn in all the ends except for that outside edge. And as I'm joining, I do sort of avoid that outside edge till later. And with this particular blanket, I have decided to do what they would call in quilting a 4 patch. So because I've realized that the colorway sort of seems to just do these like 4, with the all yellow, pink and purple, the blue, green, purple, and the yellow, orange, and a red. So what I want to do is I'm going to join 2 here. Well, let's make it so you can see it. 2 here. This is going to be our row. But if we wanted the 6, we would just keep joining to make however long of a row that you want. But we are going to make our rows too long. And then we're going to sew those rows together as another 2, opposite like that, as in the 4 patch. And then we sew this way. And then I'm going to do a border around. So we won't be doing that in this video. This is more about how to join the squares. So the next thing we need to do is make sure that the squares are the same way up. Let me zoom in. So this one is the wrong way. How it's kind of like, I don't know, curly looking. And this is the right way up. This is the right way and this is the wrong way. You can join it, so like the right way on the double crochet and the wrong way on the singles. You can join it however you like and just make them the same. So you can see here that this is right way up or wrong way up. So just make them the same, whichever way you want to do it. So I think I'm going to go... it's easier to see either way. I think I'm going to go this way so that this last row of double crochet is the right way up. And I'm going to put these to the outside. But eventually, like, you may come across them as you're going. And what you're going to do is just, see there's a hole here, 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 a hole here, and a hole there. There's a hole either side of that knot. You just got to be careful you don't put one in the middle as well. That's all. So it's a little tricky to see on that part where you've got the join. So we're going to join here. Right, so we've got them the correct way up. Make sure that we've made them exactly the same, and they will be the same. As I showed you before, there are holes here where you would normally go, which is that little braided part. That's where we're going to be inserting our hook. And then we can see we did 3 here. 1, 2, 3 in the corner. Same over here is 1, 2, 3. we're going to go into this middle one and at the back of it for our first stitch, and the same here. We go into there and then we're going to go up. If we get that wrong, you can fudge it, don't worry. So let's bring over our white yarn. I'll just leave it there. We're going to make a slip knot. I said slip knot before about this, but I meant magic ring. So slip knot however you make it, and make it small. Okay, so take it off and you're going to hold it. You're going to insert your hook into that second one. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, that hole there. From the top to the back. Then we're going to grab this slip knot and bring it through. And I'll just split the yarn a little bit there. Make sure you do it neatly. Then we'll bring that through. So this is the working yarn. We're going to leave the tail there. There it is. And make sure you leave a long enough tail to weave in later. Okay. And then it can get like a little tricky. To make it comfortable, you might need to turn a little bit. And I like to work on a surface. So sometimes you use like a little lap tray if I want to do it in the bed on my lap, or I'm at a little table right now. So then I go into that same stitch over here. That's the 1, 2, 3. It's the second one. And you go in top down. We're going to grab the yarn, the working yarn. Just going to pull that apart so you can see. Pull it through. And then we have 2 loops. You can tighten this back up to make a single crochet. You pull that through. That's just like a single crochet. Now we have this loop. Take it off the hook and hold on to it with your left hand. Find your next hole, which is here, top down. I have accidentally skipped a hole right there. And bring that loop through. And sometimes you got to maneuver a little bit, just like that. Then we're going to go, just move this working yarn over. Then we're going to go top down into the next hole, which is that one. Grab that yarn. Now here, I like to pull this, and then that tightens everything up. Pull it through just like a single crochet. Boom. So you can make this loop bigger here. Hold the loop, find the next hole, which is here. Go through top down, grab that loop. So when I make the loop bigger, I just hold it like that, and then you can pull it through. Then we can tighten. Move that out the way. Top down into the next hole. Grab the yarn and pull it through. Single crochet. Then you can make this big again. Just move this over here. Grab the loop. Find the next hole, which is here. Then I just hold that tight. Pull it through. Pull the whole thing tight. Move that over. Top down. Pull it through. And single crochet. Make a bigger loop, and off you go. And the act of taking this loop off and going top down and bringing it through the back gives us this really nice flat seam, and you can see how straight this edge is going to be. Equally, this edge will be very straight. So I'm going to start going now in real time how fast I can go. If you're like, oh, that's going to take forever, let's just see how long it takes. I'm going to start a new clip and then we'll be able to find out exactly how long it takes. Okay. Okay, so on this edge I have left this tied off piece. So as I said, we're just going to do a hole probably there and there, either side of that knot. Don't do an extra one in between. And once we've done the seam over the knot, we will weave in that end. I feel like we do have an extra stitch here, so what I'm going to do is go through here. I'm going to do that side. I'm going to pull this back through that same loop, and that's just going to cinch us one stitch closer to get that one through, and then we're on track for that middle one. So that's how you can sort of fudge it if you need to. And then we're exactly where we should be there. And then just do one more where you come like top down here and finish it off. And then we have that. So maybe I did put an extra stitch where that tie off was. Oh. Make sure you leave a long enough tail that you can weave in later. And then just pull that through. So there we go. And now this is in the middle. I will weave this end in, and we leave all the outside ones there until they become a middle one. Super easy. Where we've just stitched, it's pretty thick. Let's go one, back the other way, two. It's a bit extra thick there. Boom, three. Chop that off. And we have two sewn together, both the right way up, and a flat seam. So we're going to do the other two, and then we'll join them into here into a 4. Okay, so I just watched my footage back and I realized that I did miss a stitch down here, which is why it turned out a little wonky, but that's okay. I'm gonna sew these two together this way in the same way, and then we're gonna put them together this way. Okay, so that came out a bit more even, not to worry. So then what we're going to do is join them this way. Now, if these were longer, as we're joining, what we would do is start to roll it up as we go, and then you can keep your work in front of you, because then I'd be working here, and you could clip that with something if you wanted to, but it's not that big, so we're just going to try and stay in frame. So off we go, again starting in that second corner. the exact same way. And then we just want to make sure that these ends here meet up. So make sure we end it here, put a stitch in here and a stitch on this side. As long as those meet up, it's going to look good. So you can adjust it how we did the other time, like that first one. If you find yourself not quite meeting at the ends, just to cinch it down or up. I don't like to redo stuff, so I'd prefer to fudge it, but that's up to you how precise you would like to be. Of course, if you're doing competition work, I would have undone that and gone back and done it again. But we're not, so I don't have to, haha. So you can see it's pretty fast. The only thing is it's easier to do it on a flat surface, which might be annoying. Whoop. Should I get both loops? And now I'm making mistakes now. I'm talking. Oh no, what's happening? It's all coming undone. Concentrate. And that's the same in quilting. As long as your corners fit, you are good to go. As long as they meet, I should say. Everything's gonna look fine. Like you could have some mess in here in your quilt block. As long as these corners meet, you're gonna look good. Okay, so we're coming up to the last few stitches. We've got 1, 2, 3 here. We might need to... How many have I got here? 1. So we're gonna do a double stitch here. Cinch this forward. Then we'll go in here because that meets. That's the last corner, so they do meet. Because the next one we're going to go into is actually that's the top of the third one. Yeah, so that works. Then we'll go into the middle, or we can't even go in this stitch. I think we'll go in this corner stitch. So that's the corner of the next. And see, we've got a tie off here, but I would say it's here. See, that's that. This corner, last 1, 2, 3. So in there. Get that out the way. Yeah, and then I think we're back on track. And then we'll see that there, and then is that the next hole or there? Maybe there. Yeah. So just go slow in that, where they all meet in the middle. And then, yeah, see, as long as that meets, we're looking lovely and square. So let's keep going to the end, and then I'll zoom out. We'll see how we're going. Yeah, I feel like you might need to. I'm going to go into this hole again, just to bring this stitch closer. And you can't even tell. Yep. That is the corner. And then just into this last stitch to straighten up that edge. Boom. Need a tail. Finish that off. Now we have just one thread in the middle here, which I will weave in, and we could sew this closed a little more if we wanted to. I think it's okay. I might just come over here and just sew that hole. No, neaten it up however you think looks good. So we'll go through this thick part here. And then maybe down here. Into there. That can just close that gappiness a tiny bit if we want to. These sewing in ends is not the devil. Let's just close that up a bit, and then maybe we'll just do this little bit, this little end here. Close that up a bit. Nice. And yeah, we're still going to have our 4 holes there from when we do our corners, but that's okay because we did a chain there. Just put this into like a thicker stitch because I kind of skipped a bit much there. In there, and then we'll chop it off. Sew it as much as what you think. Boom. So, you can see, as long as we meet in these corners, we're all good to go. Take this out of here. Not bad. This was our little dodgy one to start with. That's okay. So what I'm going to do now, which I won't show you because this video was all about sewing them together, but I will give you a look before we go at the end of the video. I'm going to go around this whole thing. So this would be called a quilt block. It's a 4 patch, but if you just want to sew the whole blanket together in rows this way and then this way and roll it up as you go to make it easier, you can do that. I'm just going to go around. I'm going to put 2 lots of 3 doubles in these 4 corners, and then I'm just going to skip 3 stitches and put 3 in. I'm going to do that in the white, and then again I'll do another single. We might even do the single in a different color, like a blue or a green or a yellow. Maybe we'll do each block will have a different color from here, like one will be purple, one will have a single of green, whatever, and then I'll do another single of white and join them all together. So I'm just going to show you, like, we'll just skip next to a finished block. Okay, so this is our final result. I'm going to make a bunch of squares like this and join it together like you would in quilting. Again, just putting a single crochet row where I want to join in this method. I'm thinking of doing some different colors. If you want to see this blanket get finished, it's going to be in my 2025 Makes playlist. Obviously haven't finished it yet, but yeah, if you're watching this a couple of months from when it's published, go check it out, see if it's there. Now, we joined on this side, and again, and then I decided to go right side up. These are my double crochets facing the right side up, but you can join them that way later on if you want to. It's all up to you what you think looks best. Just make it all the same way up and then it will look uniform. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you like what you see, and check out these other videos.